Hey, so I know you've been like really digging into ways to make things more efficient, especially with that project you mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Well, today we're diving deep into logistics network design,
Okay.
and we've got this awesome primer from Procure for Marketing to guide us.
Sounds good.
So we're going to be like pulling out the core ideas about how to design a network
Okay.
that keeps those costs down,
Right.
but also make sure your customers are like super happy.
Yeah, the customer satisfaction piece is huge.
Absolutely. Okay, so ready to get strategic.
Let's do it.
Right.
So, logistics network design, or LND, as some people call it,
Oh, fancy.
it's more than just like moving boxes around.
Right?
It's really about like building a supply chain that gives your company an edge.
Okay, I like that.
Like you're able to respond to what the market needs faster and smoother than everyone else.
Yeah, so it's like baking in a competitive advantage
Ex-
just by how you operate.
Yep. And the source breaks it down into four main areas:
Okay.
facility location,
Yep.
inventory management,
Got it.
transportation, and
Okay.
technology integration.
Awesome. Okay, let's tackle these one by one. So facility location first.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's not as simple as just like throwing a dart at a map.
No, not at all.
Right.
Being close to your markets is important, of course.
Yeah.
But the source also points out, you got to think about things like
Right.
access to transportation.
Yeah.
How easy it is to get good workers.
Right.
Even like how much it'll cost to run things there and if there's room to grow in the future.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck.
Exactly.
All right, so picking the right spot can really cut down on like lead times and shipping costs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like a strategic chess game,
It is.
thinking several moves ahead.
Absolutely.
Do you have any real-world examples?
Yeah, so imagine a company that sells like flowers. Things
Or
that,
perishable?
yeah, exactly, time sensitive.
Yeah.
They put their distribution hubs near major airports,
Smart.
right? They can get those flowers to people quickly,
Makes sense.
keeping them fresh and not losing a bunch of product.
Awesome. Okay, so that's facility location.
Yep.
Let's move on to inventory management.
Okay.
I have heard some real horror stories
Oh, I bet.
about when this goes wrong.
Yeah, you really don't want to mess this part up.
No.
The source emphasizes finding that balance.
Okay.
You need balanced stock levels
Right.
and enough safety stock
Uh-huh.
so you can meet demand without having a ton of stuff just sitting around.
The gathering dust.
Exactly.
Right.
But you also need that buffer,
Right.
just in case demand spikes or there's a problem in the supply chain.
That seems so tricky to get right.
Oh, it definitely is a balancing act.
Okay, so let's talk transportation.
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward on the surface, but
There's more to it than meets the eye.
right.
It's all about picking the best way to move things.
Okay.
Sometimes trucking is the fastest and cheapest,
Right.
but sometimes you need to fly stuff.
Yeah. Like with those flowers?
Exactly. And then there's this whole world of route optimization.
Ooh, what the
They use algorithms
Okay.
to figure out the most efficient routes, like based on traffic and when things need to be delivered.
Interesting.
It's all about saving time,
Right.
fuel,
Like that.
and money.
Makes sense.
Plus, it's better for the planet.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so it's really a win-win.
Route optimization, is that like those apps
That's
that
my kind.
magically know when you're about to order takeout?
Yeah, it's similar technology.
Wow.
There are a few big ones, like Dijkstra's algorithm.
Okay.
That one finds the shortest path between 2 points.
Good.
And then there's the traveling salesperson problem.
Right.
That one's all about optimizing a route with multiple stops.
I see.
And these are making deliveries faster and greener every single day.
So they're working behind the scenes,
Yep,
making our lives easier,
exactly.
even if we don't realize it.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay, so we've got facility location, inventory management, transportation, and finally, technology integration.
Okay.
Now, this is where things get really futuristic.
Yeah, this is where it gets exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me about these like network planning tools.
Okay, so imagine a simulator for your supply chain.
Okay.
You feed it data, like past sales demand forecast, transport costs,
Uh-huh.
and it helps you visualize different network setups
Wow.
to see which one's most efficient.
So you can see the future of your logistics.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's wild.
And then there's real-time decision-making, which is even more impressive.
Okay. How so?
Think about sensors, GPS tracking, and all those internet-connected devices.
Right.
They're feeding live data about your supply chain.
So like a truck rerouting itself to avoid traffic.
Exactly. Or a warehouse that automatically adjusts its stock levels based on orders.
That is so responsive.
It is.
Instead of reacting,
Yep.
you're anticipating and adapting instantly.
It's like your supply chain is thinking on its own.
That is incredible. Okay, so we've got these 4 key elements of L&D. But how does this actually work in practice?
So the source lays out a 4-phase process.
Okay.
It starts with taking a good hard look at what you're doing now,
Okay.
analyzing your operations to see what's working, what's not.
Like an honest self-assessment.
Right, you need to establish a baseline.
Gotcha. And then what?
Then you move on to identifying areas for improvement.
So, where are the bottlenecks?
Exactly. Where can things be faster, smoother, or cheaper?
Okay, so you've analyzed the current state,
Yeah.
pinpointed areas
Yeah.
for improvement.
Uh-huh.
What's next?
Then it's time to get creative and design that new network.
Okay, so this is where the big decisions happen.
Exactly.
Facility locations,
Yep.
transport modes,
Uh,
technology integration.
right. All based on what you learned in the previous steps.
It's like a puzzle,
It is.
finding how all these pieces fit together perfectly.
And then finally, you've got implementation planning.
So you have to actually make it happen.
Yeah, you need a plan.
Right.
So you map out the steps, figure out what resources you need, and set a timeline.
To transition to this new optimized network,
Exactly.
this is all starting to sound pretty complex.
It can do.
Are there common challenges that companies run into?
Oh, for sure. The source talks about a few big ones.
Like what?
The crazy complexity of global supply chains,
Okay.
the fact that demand is always changing,
Right.
and the reality that market conditions are constantly shifting.
Oof. Okay, let's break those down.
Sure.
What makes global supply chains so tricky?
Well, think about it. You're dealing with different countries,
Yeah.
each with its own rules, languages, and cultures.
Right.
And then there's customs, border crossings, even political instability in some places.
Oh, yeah, that adds a whole other layer of complexity.
It does.
So it's logistics on top of logistics.
Very much.
And then there's fluctuating demand.
Yeah, that can be a real headache.
If you have to plan ahead.
Right, but you've got to be ready for anything.
Like what?
Seasonal shifts, sudden spikes in demand.
Right.
Maybe a new product launch that goes viral.
Uh-huh.
If you're not prepared, you could end up with empty shelves one day
Yeah.
and too much stuff the next.
Not a good situation.
Not at all. And then there's the constant evolution of market conditions.
Right. Like, how does that play out in the real world?
Well, technology is always advancing.
Right.
Consumer preferences change.
Uh-huh.
New competitors pop up all the time.
Yep.
Your network has to be adaptable
I see.
or you'll get left behind.
So how do companies stay ahead of the curve?
The key is flexibility.
Okay.
The source really stresses that.
So you need to be able to adapt.
You got it.
So anticipating the unexpected and building in some wiggle room.
That's the idea.
Got it.
What else helps?
Adaptable networks.
Okay.
A modular approach where you can swap out parts as needed
Interesting.
and continuous evaluation to make sure things are running smoothly.
So you're always tweaking and improving.
Exactly. That's how you stay ahead in this ever-changing world.
Makes sense. So you need to be strategic for the long haul.
Yeah.
But also agile enough to adjust as needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's another important piece we haven't talked about.
What's that?
Sustainability.
Oh, right. Sustainability.
It's a big deal.
It's more than just a buzzword these days.
What is?
It's like a core value for so many companies.
For sure.
And I imagine it's a big part of logistics network design, too.
Absolutely. The source makes it clear.
Yeah.
Sustainability isn't optional anymore. It's a must-have.
So how are companies integrating sustainability into their logistics networks?
Well, a lot of them are switching to eco-friendly transportation,
Okay.
like electric vehicles and biofuels.
I have seen more electric delivery vans around lately.
Yeah, they're becoming more and more common.
Cool.
And it's not just about the vehicles.
What else?
Companies are also investing in energy-efficient warehouses.
How so?
Think solar panels, LED lighting, smart climate control,
Okay.
all designed to use less energy.
So it's about moving goods efficiently,
Uh-huh.
but also being mindful of the planet.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
I like that. And that's a key takeaway from the source.
What is
Sustainability and efficiency often go hand in hand.
interesting?
Like by optimizing routes,
Okay.
companies can save fuel and cut emissions while also saving money.
Wow, a triple win.
Right. It's like they say doing good is good business.
Love that. Okay, so let's shift gears for a moment and look ahead.
Okay.
What's the future of logistics network design?
Now that is a great question.
What trends should we be watching?
The source highlights a few game changers.
Like what?
AI-powered predictions,
Ooh,
last-mile delivery innovations,
Okay.
and the transparency of blockchain technology.
cool. Okay, let's unpack those.
Sounds good.
Starting with AI-powered predictions.
So imagine being able to forecast demand with incredible accuracy,
Okay.
knowing exactly how much inventory you need and where to put it.
Yeah.
That's the power of AI.
So no more warehouses full of unwanted stuff,
Hopefully not.
right?
How does it work?
AI algorithms crunch tons of data.
Historical sales weather patterns,
Mhm.
even social media trends.
Wow.
And they come up with predictions that were impossible just a few years ago.
That's amazing.
It is. And then there are the last mile delivery innovations.
Like what?
We're talking drones, autonomous vehicles, robots delivering right to your door.
Now that's a delivery experience I can get behind.
It's pretty cool.
Do you really think we'll be seeing drones dropping off packages anytime soon?
It's already happening in some places.
Really?
As the technology improves and the regulations catch up,
Yeah.
I think we'll see it everywhere.
That's exciting.
It is. And then there's blockchain.
Right. Everyone's talking about blockchain.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
But how does it fit into logistics?
Blockchain is all about transparency and security.
Okay.
It's like a digital ledger that tracks goods as they move through the supply chain.
So every step of the journey is recorded.
Exactly, and it can't be tampered with.
Oh, wow.
So it helps prevent fraud, counterfeiting, and disruptions.
So it's a digital fingerprint for each product.
You got it. And it also lets consumers trace the origin of their stuff.
Which is becoming more and more important.
Yeah, people want to know where things come from.
Right.
So that transparency builds trust
Okay.
between companies, suppliers, and consumers.
This is mind-blowing. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
But before we wrap up, I want to bring it back to our listener.
Okay.
Why should you care about all of this?
Well, think about it. Logistics touches almost every part of our lives.
Sure.
The food we eat, the clothes we wear, the technology we use.
Yeah.
All of that has to be transported from one place to another.
Right.
And a good logistics network makes that process more efficient,
Okay.
more sustainable,
Yeah.
and more affordable for everyone.
So it's the invisible backbone of the economy.
Pretty much. And as these new trends take hold, we can expect even faster deliveries,
Okay.
lower costs,
Yeah.
and a more sustainable supply chain.
Wow. It's a really exciting time to be following this field.
It is for sure what stood out to you the most.
I think those last mile delivery innovations really blew my mind.
Yeah,
Drones and autonomous vehicles just seamlessly delivering things.
it's a game changer.
It really feels like we're on the edge of a revolution.
Absolutely. And the best part is, this is just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
There's so much more to come. Who
Yeah.
knows what the future holds? Oh, yeah. It's a field that never stands still.
Right. And as we dig deeper into these emerging trends, we got to remember that L&D isn't just like a one-time thing.
No, it's not a set it and forget it kind of deal.
Right. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
You're constantly evaluating, adapting, innovating.
We're always looking for ways to do better.
Okay. So before we get too lost in the future,
Yeah, let's ground ourselves.
let's bring it back to those core principles.
Okay.
You said earlier that strategic logistics network design.
Right.
It's super important for any business that wants to succeed.
Especially in today's world.
Right. It's
Yeah.
about finding that sweet spot
Yeah, that balance.
between cost, service, and sustainability.
You got it. And those three things,
Yeah.
they're not mutually exclusive. You can have all three.
Oh, okay.
A well-designed L&D can actually lower costs,
Okay.
improve service levels,
Uh-huh.
and minimize environmental impact all at the same time.
So it's about seeing the big picture,
Exactly.
understanding how everything connects.
It's all connected.
I'd love to hear some real-world examples.
Oh, sure. I've got a good one.
Okay, hit me.
There's this global apparel retailer.
Okay.
They completely revamped their L&D
Wow.
to focus on sustainability and efficiency.
Nice.
They moved their distribution centers closer to their main markets
Smart.
so they could cut down on transportation distances.
Less fuel.
Yep, fewer emissions.
Okay, what else?
They also brought in these advanced inventory management systems
Okay.
that use AI to predict demand and optimize stock levels.
So they always have the right amount of stuff.
Right, no waste, no storage costs.
Awesome.
And they've been investing heavily in renewable energy for their warehouses and transportation fleets.
So they're really putting their money where their mouth is.
They are, and the results are impressive.
Like what?
Their carbon footprint is way down.
Okay.
Their delivery times are faster.
Wow.
And their customers are happier.
That's amazing.
No,
It really shows that strategic L&D
it's powerful.
can make a business more sustainable and more profitable.
That's the goal.
It's inspiring to see companies taking the lead like that.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about the principles of L&D,
Mm-hmm.
the challenges, the solutions, and even the exciting future of this field.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. But as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you, our listener, with something to think about.
I like that. Give them something to chew on.
It's been fascinating exploring all the ins and outs of logistics network design.
It has.
And as we've seen, it's a field that's constantly changing,
Always evolving.
driven by technology
Yep,
and a growing understanding of sustainability.
absolutely.
So with that in mind,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a question.
Okay.
What one thing will you explore further based on what you've learned today? What really sparked your curiosity? It's been a wild ride for sure,
It has.
from AI predictions to drone deliveries.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty cool stuff.
L&D is full of possibility.
Oh, absolutely. And what's really exciting is that we're just getting started.
Oh,
As technology keeps advancing and we learn more about global supply chains,
yeah.
who knows what we'll come up with next?
That's what makes this field so dynamic
It is.
and so engaging.
For sure.
I know for me, those last mile delivery innovations
Yeah.
really got me thinking.
Yeah, those are pretty mind-blowing.
Imagine a future with drones and autonomous vehicles.
Just delivering stuff right to your door.
It's going to change everything.
It is a game changer, and it's not just about convenience.
Right.
It could revolutionize access to essential things.
Okay, how so?
Think about medical supplies, groceries, educational materials, delivered quickly and efficiently to anyone who needs them.
No matter where they are.
Exactly.
That's a powerful vision of the future.
It is.
It shows that L&D can be about more than just
Yeah.
efficiency and profits.
Right.
It can be a force for good,
Absolutely.
making lives better.
And creating a more equitable world.
I like that. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to encourage you, our listener,
Yeah.
to take what you've learned
Uh-huh.
and explore the areas that piqued your interest.
There's so much to discover.
Whether it's AI predictions, blockchain, or last mile delivery innovations,
Yeah.
there's a ton of information out there.
Just waiting to be explored.
And remember, learning is a journey,
That is.
as we've seen. L&D is always changing.
Never.
There's a dull moment.
So stay curious,
Yeah.
keep exploring,
Huh?
and don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
That's how progress happens.
Who knows? You might just come up with the next big innovation in logistics.
It could be you.
And if you have any questions or thoughts,
Don't hesitate to reach out.
we love hearing from you.
We're always happy to chat.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy exploring.